been smart to like bullet point some thoughts for this video before I hit record, but that's just not the situation. Hello, my lovely beans. What's up? How are ya? I can't tell if this lighting looks really bad or not. I feel like I'm gonna go into editing and it's gonna be real dark and I'm gonna be real upset. So if that happens, it has been a while since I sat down and reviewed something for you guys. And honestly, I feel like I haven't wanted to do that because there hasn't been anything I've particularly been like, I should review that for my channel. But then came Westworld. And that show, it's got me good. If you follow me on Twitter, @ShutUpKristen, then you've probably seen me freaking out on there about this show week to week for the last 7 weeks. Because for me, it is quite possibly my favorite thing that is actually running on television right now. So right now, since we are only a little bit over halfway done with season 1 of the show, there is a good chance that there are many of you who have no idea what the show is about. And so I have elected myself to take on that task of explaining this very, very complicated show to you. But it's complicated in a good way. Basically, this show is very cerebral. It is, if you love Sherlock, you'll probably love this show, in that it's one of those shows that you can't multitask and watch, not if you really want to enjoy it or understand what's going on. So let's hop in. Let me try and do my best to explain this to you guys. This show takes place in an undisclosed time, but in the future, where we have technologically advanced to a point where AI, artificial intelligence, or if you prefer to call them robots, have become indistinguishable for the most part, at least on the outside, from humans. And what do humans do when we advance to having very human-like artificial intelligence? We make a theme park. The title of the show, Westworld, is the name of the theme park. Basically, Westworld is a theme park that is basically the size of a continent, and it is meant to simulate completely and entirely the Wild Wild West. Hence, Westworld. And within the park, the way that it functions is that they basically have these hosts, which are the artificial intelligence. Each host has their own personality and different storylines that people, when they come to the park, can play out. And so people pay what seems to be a very large sum of money to go to Westworld and basically go in there and carry out any storyline they want, which really shows you their like innermost wants and needs. Because like I said, the hosts are almost indistinguishable from humans in that you can have sex with them, you can kill them. So it's this interesting psychological balance of, you kind of see, like, is somebody going to the park because they really want to see what it would be like to kill someone? Or are they going there to try and be a hero in a grander story? It's really cool in that that's kind of one of the psychological layers of the show, but just one of the many, truthfully. So that's kind of the setting setup of our show. And when we begin, what we are seeing is that all of the hosts have just had an update because they are constantly doing, I think they're called reveries, where they are basically trying to constantly keep the AI looking even more real. They want the hosts to have like little things that just make them that much more human, like biting their lip or, you know, scratching their face. But it would appear that the hosts that have been most recently updated with these reveries are having a weird side effect. Because the way that the hosts work in the park is that when somebody goes on a storyline with them, it seems like whenever the storyline ends or they ultimately get killed, they reset. They get their entire memory wiped so that they don't remember their past lives, because the hosts don't know that they are hosts. They think they're real. And this plays into two important parts in the way that they're programmed. One of the ways is that they are pretty much programmed to not figure out that they are real. If someone in the park were to go up to them and say, you're not real, or talk about the outside world outside of Westworld, they basically wouldn't understand what that person was saying, or they wouldn't hear it. It just wouldn't cognitively make sense to them. So there are all these safeguards in their programming to prevent them from figuring out that they are artificial intelligence. And alongside with that, they also are programmed in a way where they cannot hurt anybody in the park. Because obviously you've got a bunch of people shooting at each other in Westworld. It's all meant to be real. And if they were to shoot at a human, it would basically just blow the human back a little bit, but it would not like severely hurt them in any sort of way. It would just jolt them a little bit. But they can't hurt any of the humans, obviously, because then that would ruin the entire illusion and the theme park would be sued forever and ever. But with this new update, it seems to be affecting the hosts in a way that they are suddenly starting to remember things things that have happened to them. And obviously the problem there is that if they start remembering things, they might start to realize that something is off. And those safeguards that have been put in place to try and prevent them from figuring out that they are not real might suddenly not be accounting for the fact that they are remembering things. Whew, we made it through the hardest stuff to explain. So basically, we are both following the hosts and the people that work on programming the hosts, making their storylines, doing all of these things. The main host that we are following is Dolores, played by Evan Rachel Wood, and oh my, I mean, let's just jump into one of the main reasons why I love this series so much, is that the acting done on this television show is extraordinary. And I want to start off with Evan Rachel Wood because, like, Anthony Hopkins is also in this show, and I feel like he's probably getting like a lot of the props on the acting, and obviously he's an incredible actor, but Evan Rachel Wood as this host is just mind-blowing. Really, all of the actors playing hosts in this TV show are out of this world because the amount of detail they have to constantly be like checking in with, being these like Wild Wild West characters, and then sometimes when the programmers will come in to like interview them and whatnot, they'll have to snap out of it and like kind of be these like cold-faced just like response mechanisms, and it's just outrageous. And then there is Jeffrey Wright, who plays this character Bernard, who is one of like the storyline programmers. He helps with all the updates and all of the cognitive programming functioning for all of these hosts. He is just so fantastic in this show because the one thing is that obviously this is kind of like, it's not that outlandish, but you know, it's a storyline that you really have to like invest in, even though it might seem a little out of our world right now. He makes it so believable, as does the rest of the cast. Sandy Newton, an actress who I've never seen in anything but I am now obsessed with because of this show, is in the show. She plays a host who is a madam in Westworld. Ooh. She is a boss ass bitch and I love it. And then obviously Anthony Hopkins is just like, how do you do it, sir? Explain to me, teach me a master class, please. And that's only touching on some of the top billed people in the show. Really, overall, every single person, even the extras in the show, are just so on point. The attention to detail is outrageous and it's beautiful. And going behind the scenes for a second, this is also a J.J. Abrams and Jonathan Nolan thing. There are many other people working on this project, but those are two of the big names. And I just love how this series has everything that I think J.J. Abrams is just best at, like, incorporated in there. And I can promise you guys, there haven't been that many lens flares. And it should definitely be mentioned that this was based on, I believe, a movie back in the day. I haven't seen the entire thing. However, I know that there's already been a callback in the show. I won't spoil that, but there is an Easter egg callback to the old one in this. And the writing for the show is just so good. For me, the pacing is on point. It's at a level where I think if it were any faster, it would be difficult to understand because, again, it's very cerebral. It's a lot to take in. You really have to be like on the ride with the show. But there's just so many layers to the storylines that there's so much going on. Like, again, you're kind of seeing how people act when they go to the park, how they're playing that out, because you eventually do follow some characters that are guests in the park, and then you're also following the team behind the scenes who are trying to figure out like if anybody is programming these differently to specifically do this, if their programming is putting the guests in danger. You have a person up at the top ring rear who is just trying to make sure that the park is safe, and then you have, you know, people that are also trying to, like Anthony Hopkins, keep the robots and the AI, the hosts, like being the best that they can be and being like these beautiful creations. I just love it. We're on episode 7 again, where I'm at right now, and there are 10 episodes in season 1, and I'm already dreading like the next 3 episodes being over, but I can say that so far the journey has been so worth it. It is the only show right now that I am watching consistently week to week when it comes out because I don't want spoilers to happen. And I just love how smart the writing is. I really enjoy when writers write not assuming that their audience is stupid, you know? And it's already been confirmed for getting a season 2, though it won't be coming out until 2018. But if you guys are looking for an extra host, call me. So in conclusion, if you're into questioning your own reality, if you're into robots, if you're into the future, if you're into programming, if you're into really great acting, if you're into the Wild Wild West, if you're into thrillers or mysteries or action things, you will love this. So basically, you will love this. So go and watch it and then come back and leave me a comment when you have. letting me know how you liked it. And that's where I'm gonna cut this video off. I know that there's so much more that I would like to talk about, like just in general. We didn't even touch upon the existential crisis that these hosts are going through now that they're remembering things, but it's just, yeah, you gotta go watch it. You gotta go watch it and then tweet at me because we will talk about it. If you like this video and you want more people to get into Westworld, be sure to hit that like button and share this video with a friend and make your friends watch it. And while you're at it, be sure to hit that subscribe button on my channel. And if you want to find me on other social media, here is all of my information. In case you can't tell, I'm at ShutUpKristen on everything. Otherwise, thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you in my next video. Bye!